What's up, everybody? I'm beyond excited, actually. I've been looking forward to this for, well, I was thinking to myself, I was like, how do I do this? These people are very cool. I've watched your streams sometimes, and obviously I've heard your voices and various things. And then with Jen, I think I play Wuthering Waves, so we'll talk about It's one of my one of my buckets, one of the things that people really enjoy coming to my, because I like talking about the music and playing it and stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until Clair Obscur where I was like, I want to talk to these people. And Aliona, I know you were talking about your roles and on Twitter, and I was like, I'm just going to reach out, screw it, and sit down with you both and have a chat. And my plan for today is to sort of crash through your history and listen to a piece of music. This is maybe a new series called Voice Actors React to Their Own Games, I guess. I don't know. Do you guys feel like you're musical? Do you guys connect to music?
Very much.
Yeah. My first way of earning money when I was 15 was busking.
No, singing while busking?
I played the guitar, my friend would sing.
Really?
I'd do a bit of the background.
Yeah.
I'd do a bit of the harmonies.
Wow.
In Elephant and Castle in London. There's a giant roundabout now. There's lots of different intersections to cross, but it used to be a foot tunnel underneath with like 8 different tunnels. And so we would busk there to make money to buy things that teenagers buy that I will not be saying.
Fish and chips.
Incriminate yourself. Fish and chips.
Yeah, saving up for a better guitar actually, but she was the one saving, and she would share. So anyway, yeah, no, we are musical. Moving on.
Very musical. Yeah, I grew up like we both grew up with a lot of music at home and like musical families, and yeah, it's a really big role in
musical family.
As in like
your family.
Yeah, my family. Okay, fine. But no, you got played a lot of music by your father.
True.
And yeah, there's always music on in our household.
And we sometimes go to choir together as a little cute hobby. Yeah, you got to have hobbies that don't have anything to do with work, and that's our one.
Yeah, for sure. A small community.
When I was an opera singer, I was thinking about opera music, and because I was an opera singer for a decade, and then I quit opera, sort of retired. I mean, I still sing here and there, and then I pivoted to voiceover. So my last gig was in France in 2019. I was doing Macbeth by Giuseppe Verdi.
Whoa!
And I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, this is too stressful. I'm dying. I'm neurodivergent. I just found out. I didn't realize that was.
You're welcome.
I'm a subset of neurodivergency, and my life is miserable. And so I decided to pivot to voiceover, and then I was sort of hustling for about 3 years, and I was doing pretty well, and then this YouTube channel. I don't remember what I was trying to. What was the point of that? I don't remember.
Talking about hobbies outside of work.
Hobbies. Yeah. So everything. I've been playing video games since I was 7 years old, and so I always thought, and I'm 37. So I was always thinking about like gaming, and so when I would be away on gigs, it was really strange because when I lived in DC, the gig was in France, but I was playing a game called The Division 2, which was based in DC. So it was like this is strange. Like, it was the only way that I had any semblance of like peace. But now, between video games and voiceover, I'll get done, and my fiance's like, "Didn't you just play a game for 6 hours on stream?" And I was like, yeah, but like not this one.
Oh, we absolutely will finish a stream and then be like, right, what are we playing now? And then we're like, oh, we don't need sleep. It's fine.
Stay up another 3 hours.
Wait,
what hobbies are we going to find you?
Yeah.
That don't involve
video games and music.
Is this an intervention? This was
This
supposed to
is
be
an
about you guys.
Weaving.
Ooh.
Weaving?
Or like rug making. I feel like that's practical.
What about just crochet? Why don't we start?
Maybe.
Crochet. Crochet.
Achievable.
Does reading count? Could I read?
Yeah, I have reading.
No, fiction though. It can't be non-fiction. It can't be how to improve at your YouTube channel. That's
Lord
work.
Opera 101.
Opera for dummies.
Opera for dummies. Just read it. No,
Yeah.
I actually started reading manga and I started watching. Well, anime.
Nice.
I like watch for work, but manga. Have you ever read a manga or watched an anime?
I have. I read Tomie. I think it's pronounced Tomie. Because I had an audition for it, so it was work.
Oh, it was for work.
But I would like to.
Does Avatar: Last Airbender books count as manga? No.
No.
I love them.
You should watch Free Run. Free Run. Do you guys like to cry?
Yeah.
Do we like to cry?
My hobbies include crying.
Yeah.
That's-
Oh no, me too. I love to cry.
I love crying.
Your hobby's doing good crying. Jen has a rule. If you recognise Jen in public, or either of us in public, you can say hi unless Jen is crying.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Which is quite likely.
Please don't say
Why would anybody do that?
You'd be surprised. No,
I think they have.
I think somebody's gone, leaned forward, and I've gone.
I think you finished crying, and someone went,
"Oh yeah,"
I think that's happened like once, but I don't think they knew Jen was crying.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Do you often cry in public, Jen?
Yeah, not like, I wouldn't say like daily.
I hope not. That would probably be a larger.
Yeah, but I'd say probably like once a month.
Okay.
Twice a month.
On the tube, usually?
Oh yeah.
On the tube.
And that's basically where we live. We live in the underground, unless we're like, not like little moles, like little mole people on the underground. No, you just like when you live in London, you spend a lot of time travelling in London.
I'd like to clarify, I'm not the reason Jen is crying.
No. I just have big feelings.
I never assumed it. Yeah,
I have very big feelings. And sometimes I will cry because I'm listening to music. Look at me circling it back.
Wow.
No, but I will listen to certain albums or songs purely because they make me feel things, and then I'll have a little cry.
Didn't Pink Pony Club make you cry?
It regularly makes me cry.
What's that?
Chapel Roan's Pink Pony Club.
Oh, yes. That's right.
Swells, and it's beautiful.
But that's the power of music.
That's the power of music, baby.
Let me watch this. I'm about to. Well, anyway, you should watch Freeren. It's a beautiful anime. Freeren,
right?
Frien.
There's quite a few I want to watch, actually.
There's a lot of good ones.
We watched Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah, well that'll make you cry. I read the manga. That was my introduction.
Oh, that must have been good.
Oh, Full Metal Alchemist. Have you ever watched that?
No.
Yes, it was too gory for me.
Oh, that's fair. It is pretty gory.
Definitely.
You'd like Gurren Lagann. Oh my god, Gurren Lagann's beautiful.
Right, Death Note is one more like. A lot of people said that.
Yeah.
Violet Evergarden, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm about to start that myself, actually.
That's one that
patreon.com/Marco Meatball. So clearly this isn't a prime example of how music can, sort of transcend emotion. And sometimes I find that music, in my experience, you don't need words, which is interesting because you guys especially, but me as well, like, we're actors in our own way. And, making a living off of speaking and tapping into emotion is such an interesting thing. Do you ever do auditions and put on a tune?
Yeah, quite regularly, like in advance of like especially if I'm going in for auditions.
Oh yeah.
I will like if I know I'm gonna need to get into a certain emotional state, or if it's about me and me not feeling particularly good, or like feeling a bit trepidatious about something, I will put on like a strut playlist, or something that will make me no but there are certain songs that I'm like I was listening to like The Pretenders the other day when I was walking into an audition, kind of to lift myself. So it will be sometimes about the character and sometimes about me.
You
had a whole Shadow Harp playlist,
and I did have a whole Shadow Harp playlist which involved a lot of Billie Eilish.
I
can see that.
Yeah. Especially when you're recording for 4 years, you need something that like brings you back into the character.
For sure.
That's a whole conversation I definitely want to have once we get to the Baldur's Gate 3 section, because there's the idea of doing something for 4 years is monumental. I mean, really, that's such a phenomenon that I don't think everyone gets to experience. And it's interesting because you both have your own perspectives on it, from both sides of the glass. Yeah. Let's start with Aliona.
Aliona, yeah.
Aliona.
Very good. I do recommend that people say it in an Italian accent, and it helps.
Did you say Italian?
Italian.
I take offense, but okay.
That's my Italian.
For someone who's paid to speak, like you were saying, Jen is really bad at speaking without making mistakes.
Oh no, awful.
One of the reasons it took 4 years to record Baldur's Gate 3. Jen can't speak without making mistakes.
Oh, my feelings.
Words. I'm like, great take, Jen. Could you just do it again and get the lights out?
I'll say it. It wasn't because of the acting. It was literally just because I couldn't say the word.
Italian.
When
I audition for roles, Jen has to read in as my reading partner, and the pressure is on me. The camera's on me. I'm trying to book the job. But I have to coach Jen, who's behind the camera, into saying her words correctly.
It's so true. I'll be like, so take down your and you're like, what?
I'm like in the middle of a scene. It's so
not.
heightened. I'm like, focus.
Don't feel too bad. I've tried to teach my fiance Italian, and needless to say, I'll be like orecchiette, and she's like orecchiati. No, and then come to find out that for the first year she actually did it on purpose.
That's quite funny.
So I want to go over to Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty.
Yeah.
What an incredible thing to be a part of.
Yeah.
Was that mocap for you?
No, I wish it were. I don't think it was mocap for a lot of the NPCs. I don't think it was mocap for any NPCs, actually. I always want to do the mocap myself. And when I came in to record, they had someone on the line from CD Projekt Red, and I was like, tell them I want to do the mocap. Please tell them. I will fly to Poland. I will do the mocap. And I checked, and I even had an email that I sent them like years prior to say, hi, I hear you're gearing up to do Cyberpunk. And I think it wasn't even for the DLC. I think it was for Cyberpunk itself. Yeah. No, I don't think it was. I think it was for Phantom Liberty. But I was like, please, can I come and do mocap? I would love to. And I never got a response. But I got cast for voice cast, so that was fine.
Yeah.
And it was a pinch me moment to be doing a project that's that. Can I swear?
Of course you can.
That fucking cool.
And to play a character that fucking cool.
Yeah. And when they explain that Keanu Reeves is in the scene and they're like, and we'll play his line to you now, I was like, oh my god. Yeah, it was really cool.
Inward exhale.
Yeah.
And you got to use your Russian accent.
Yes. And I felt really... So my family are Russian. I'm Russian, born in the UK. Yes. Despite Google saying I'm born in Belarus, that's a different Aliona Baranova. I've grown up with my family all speaking with a Russian accent in the UK. So when I see on TV or hear in games bad Russian accents, the physical feeling, the cringe that I experience, it can't be explained. I'm sure maybe you've heard this with Italian accents.
Yes, I relate.
So to be cast because they were looking for someone with an authentic accent. When I say authentic, I mean mine is learnt, but because I've been exposed to it. Yes. Yeah. I'd heard that before I probably heard an English accent.
Well, your first language is Russian.
My first language is Russian. Then I learnt English, and I've always been exposed to my parents' accent. It just means so much more because I think it shows the developer and the people casting it. What's his name? Martin Vaughan. Caring about the details, caring about really representing people. And I spoke to CD Projekt Red about it, and they were like, yeah, it was really important to us to have someone with a genuine connection to Russia to voice that role. So that was really cool.
I think it's a big deal. I mean, I relate to you 100% as a first-generation American Italian person. I remember when I booked an audiobook in Italian, I had a lot of imposter syndrome because I was like, I mean, I know how to speak this language. I know I'm conversational. I know that I can speak to my family and my friends and that are in Italy. However, it's like, whoa, this is significant. Not only to the audience, but also to you as a person to, because do you ever feel sorry, Jen, we're about to go off into
no, go.
Dual.
It's fascinating.
Do you ever feel sort of mixed identity where you don't feel like you belong in either place?
Absolutely, yeah. In the UK, I get you're not British, you're Russian. When I'm in Russia, I haven't been in several years, but when I used to go regularly, and I would get you're not Russian, you're British.
Right.
So I think at some point I just accepted I am multinational.
Exactly. My
identity is to not be from one specific nationality. And as a kid, I was very confused about that. But then I think when I went to university and started to meet triculture kids and people who've grown up all over, I realised that's its own not nationality, but identity.
It's its own identity.
And I think it's a very privileged one. I think growing up, experiencing two cultures is a real gift because you see the world in a way that majority of people probably wouldn't. You learn to not take everything for face value. There's alternative options. I feel like I'm getting quite philosophical about this, but I feel like you might understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Even simple things like world news. You as a kid, if you're watching the news in the language of your parents and then in the language of the country you're growing up, you're seeing that things are being told completely differently. There's different perspectives and biases on these news channels, and you're like, oh wait, the things I'm being told might not be fact. It could be different because of different perspectives. And I think that really informed me, who I am as a person. But I think that influences a lot of kids who grow up being from more than one country. My opinion on accents, and I wonder if you have the same one. I think when someone isn't from that heritage and they do a bad Russian accent, for instance, or a bad Eastern European accent, I think it has negative repercussions, because that nationality becomes almost like a cosplay. It's a costume. You reduce it to stereotypes, and then it creates more division between people, because then it dehumanizes. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a problem in games sometimes. But I'm really pleased, bringing it back to what you asked, that now casting directors and developers are really pushing for authentic representation for accents and nationalities.
Well, it's super important. I mean, I think that, I agree with you. And it's interesting because, I mean, Super Mario is so it's like on the one hand, it's like, well, I remember I was part of like an Italian American association at one point, and I would do like singing gigs for them, and watching people get their feathers and ruffled because The Godfather is perpetuating Italian stereotypes in the US. And it's like, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it is what it is. So we can only control for the most part, what we, but it's all your points are so valid. And I mean, my dad, I remember I was like, well, I feel Italian. I want to be Italian. He's like, why can't you just be yourself? And I was like, oh. And this is an Italian man who's like, why do you give a shit? Who gives a fuck? Literally, he said that. And I was like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay.
But I think it's about choice fundamentally.
Yeah, I don't think
anyone has any right to tell you what you are.
Yeah, it's just gone so deep. But yeah, I think I choose to be.
I told you it happened.
Both identities. I try and reflect it in my name. Jen always tells me that I should pronounce my name in the full Russian way, which would be Aliona Baranova. Mm-hmm. But my surname has always been anglicized to Baranova in the UK.
Right.
And I actually really like that, because it kind of is a nod to the fact that I did grow up in the UK. I have a lot of British culture, that is also part of who I am. So I like that is anglicized. So I will continue to say Aliona Baranova. And Jen will probably continue to say
Aliona Baranova.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Aliona Baranova.
Mael.
So do you guys ever listen to the music that from the games you're in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so none of this will be a surprise.
No, I haven't listened to anything from Cyberpunk.
Perfect. Well, this is Never Looking Back. I played a little bit of base Cyberpunk, and I was like, this is overwhelming, and it was right when it had first come out, blah, 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 blah. So then, when Phantom Liberty came out, I was like, I have to play this. And have you played it? Have you experienced it?
No, they've given me a code as well. I can, we could play it for the base and the DLC, but we just haven't got to it. What just made a weird sound? That was scary.
Yeah,
do you have a ghost?
No.
We should. Okay. No, we do have a ghost, but we should play it.
You should play it.
Yes.
Microwave ghost.
The microwave ghost, yeah.
We have a ghost.
Anyway, by the way. Yeah. Don't ask.
It was a monumental experience. And so I was at the gym and I was listening to this whole soundtrack by P.T. Adamczyk, and it was just, it's crazy. And I got to this track, Never Looking Back. It's got real Slavic white voice singing, the classic sort of yelled almost thing. So I was really excited to bring it. It's one of my favorite, actually probably one of my favorite pieces. It's a bit depressing, as is the whole game, but
my bit's not depressing.
Yeah, no, your bit, the Hollywood acting
Melina, yeah. When I was recording it, they were like, this is a really fun bit, and we're really glad there's a fun bit in it, and people really like the fun bit.
So you're not just constantly being bad over head with depression. What do you guys think of that piece?
Loved it.
Right?
Really cool. Really got the Eastern European.
What did you call it? Slavic?
Throat singing, like white singing, white voice,
singing.
technically.
I found it haunting, but at the same time, like, invigorating.
Mm.
And I don't know whether that's just me finding it invigorating because I'm like, oh, something that feels like close to my culture. Or did you find that?
No, I found it quite invigorating. I think it's like the kind of pulsating beat underneath kind of like energizes a little bit, which is what you need with video game music, I suppose. You need music that will kind of drive you forward as well as reflect the feelings and the emotions of the piece, the art.
Did you find the white singing invigorating?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
But I always do with that kind of music. Yeah, with that kind of singing.
It took me back, and I wonder if you can explain this, Marco. When I studied at a theatre school in the UK, but then I also did a summer intensive at the Moscow Art Theatre School, which is Stanislavski's theatre school. And one of the classes we had was traditional singing. Every time we had the class, it was white singing, is that what it's called?
White voice, white singing.
White voice. And every time I did that, because it was with an international group, so I was the only Russian person there, or person of Russian heritage, I felt emotional every time we did white singing, and I wondered if, like, something physical was happening where, like, maybe it was mental, where I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm connecting to something deep in my culture that's, like, in my heritage, it's genetically. And like I said, I play the guitar, I sing a bit, but I'm not the most trained or best singer, but I aced that class.
I bet you did.
I aced it, and they were saying, like, you know, it's the idea of you're singing down the farm to someone else, you're communicating something to someone, and I was like, wow, this really loud, powerful voice is coming out of me that I'm not used to. I've never done it since, but I wonder if there's something in that kind of singing that I felt I was the only one getting really emotional from that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know whether it's, if you're singing what is traditional to, like, your heritage, why does that have that effect on someone? Like, do Welsh people have that effect when they sing in Welsh choirs? What is that?
I mean, I think it's multi-pronged, right? I mean, I think in that particular style of singing, you know, where if an operatic singing, I don't know if they raise the hard palate. You know, obviously we have the soft and I'm sure you guys know. Let me mansplain to you.
No. I don't actually know much about the hard palate in singing. I only know about the soft palate in singing. Do you?
Well, a little bit, but only instinctually, I think. Yeah.
So there's a couple things that probably happen. I'm not studied in this particular style of singing, but in terms of, you know, the way that I used to sing and sing is like, you know, we raise the soft palate, and then everything kind of comes out like a 7. So it comes up through the esophagus and the diaphragm, goes into the back of the soft palate, and then out almost like a yarmulke, out the back of the soft palate, and then out the front via the nose and the mouth. You know, the different resonators that we have. And I think with this particular style of singing, I think because it's real, like, it's right here in the sternum, even though you're breathing from the lower diaphragm as you would. There's something about it, and then I'm fairly certain that it ends up coming out the hard palate rather than you're raising up, and there's a bit of a primal scream in it. And I think that may also be what it is, and both of you have done your own fair share of screaming in games, but like there's haven't we all? There's something about the release that I think can be a really cathartic experience, number one. Number two, I think you're right, because when I used to sing Italian opera or Italian Neapolitan art songs, like speaking in the like dialect of the Neapolitan people that my family was a part of, there's an intrinsic. And I think anybody can experience this. I mean, singing, you know, "Oh Danny Boy" for an Irish person probably connects as much, because it's like there's something really like magnetic about it. Kind of in the way that when we act or we perform, when you know a performance is authentic and true, it removes watch me pontificate. We remove the pretense, and what's left is the truth. And in singing and in really good acting, where you're not acting, you can't hide. And I think that's maybe a combo of all of those things.
That's beautiful. I love that.
This piece is brutal. I mean, you're right. It's interesting because both of you said it was invigorating, and I actually feel it's like deeply, deeply oppressive. I feel the complete opposite.
I love that.
I was going to ask, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. The chant and the repetition and the low drone. It's an interesting piece because it's not necessarily sexy. Like, it doesn't have a fast beat. It's not hard, but it is incredibly visceral and incredibly guttural. And it feels like it like permeates and it like strips the layer of the body armor that we wear as people when you just have to like, I don't know. There's something so like vibrating about it.
I think, but isn't that interesting? Because that makes me feel invigorated.
Same.
Sure. Yeah.
And not oppressed at all. Art is subjective, classic. But like, who knew?
That's right.
But I love that. But that's what's so beautiful about art is like, you know, like we've just at the same time listened to that same piece of music and two sets of people have just gone the complete opposite. And I find that so beautiful.
It's the inherent problem with homogenization where it's something like, for instance, like Clair Obscur, which we're going to get to in a second. The endings, we're not going to talk about them, but like both endings provide some sort of resolution. And what's funny to me is that the discourse became I like how I'm leaning away as if you're here. the shirt. Both endings provide something. And watching discourse between this ending is better, this ending is better, and it's like, hold on now. There is no such thing when it comes to the subjective experience of consumption of art.
Yeah. And yet people like to control it and like to tell people that they're entirely wrong for their opinions. And I'm like, well, you clearly haven't got it, you dum-dum.
It's not the point of art.
It's not the point of art. Why are you being stupid?
But don't you think, though, that like that comes from the problem of consumption and the consumption of art? If I don't, without sounding elitist, and not like I don't want to come off this way, but in my experience, there's a difference between the consumption and the consuming of something versus the act of experiencing it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like going to see a painting and it's like, oh, I'm feeding myself off of this versus I'm absorbing it and taking it in.
Absolutely.
There's a big difference there. And with games, it seems to me like it's like we purchase them, therefore we use them for consumption. But with any of these games, Phantom Liberty, you know, Clair Obscur, certainly Baldur's Gate 3, you know, there's a deeper element there that I think people get hung up on. You know, like Lies of P is a Souls game. It's difficult. So gameplay is king, but also when you look at Lies of P as a total package, there's a lot that's offered there that is also deeply artistic and deeply thought-provoking. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Absolutely. I don't know about you, but
I completely agree.
Like, and I'm now reflecting on what art I do consume, because there is like, and I think there isn't too much of a problem with that. Like, you're allowed to enjoy, you're allowed to consume, you're allowed to gorge, like, you know, just as you do with a deep pan pizza when you're starving. Like, you know, that's okay, that is valid. But I think that can become quite addictive in itself, and just like eating lots of pizzas can. And I think we then have to go, am I getting enrichment from this? Am I nourishing myself with this? And I think with an art form, and I do believe that games can be and is an art form, not every game. Like, I think there we have to really mind ourselves, especially when, you know, even Expedition 33 is incredibly addictive, and the gameplay, the combat is very addictive, and sometimes you want to rush through it because you're getting that dopamine, you're getting those chemicals into yourself, and it's about going, wait, am I looking at this incredible art? Am I absorbing? And I think we've both been guilty of even in our Expedition gameplay, where we appreciate it as artists so much and we've enjoyed experiencing it so much. And I think, you know, we've been guilty of going, you know, shut up, Lune, I just want to play. Yeah. Which, you know, is a complete disservice to the art and the beauty.
We've never skipped a Lune dialogue.
Who could? Who could?
We would never. I don't know. I just plucked that out of thin air. But like, I think we've
absolutely.
we've had to check ourselves. And I think maybe that's a conversation that's worth having on a wider scale, going forward, especially with streaming services like Netflix. And
I thought you meant streaming on Twitch.
And streaming on Twitch, but like how we consume art as a society does need to be checked, because how many times have I, no, you're really good at not, but like I've hate watched something just because I want to consume. And actually there's so much beautiful art out there that is made for absorption and for beauty, like the Expedition 33s, like Severance, like, you know, like all these wonderful shows and films and books that are there to be appreciated and not consumed. And now I'm going to have a big philosophical chat with myself, because this has really sparked something.
It's a very good point, and I think it's the reason with Clair Obscur, for instance, we made the decision with Baldur's Gate 3, because we worked on it for so long, we knew a lot of what was happening. We're streaming it, still streaming it nearly 2 years on, and reacting to what happens in the game for the first time on stream. With Clair Obscur, we decided, especially because I knew a lot of the story, but not all of it, and even you didn't, we decided to play it privately off stream to experience the art, and to then play on stream that with it in mind that we have an audience. Therefore, we are some people will be experiencing the story for the first time, but we're also there to entertain. And there are still moments where we're still moved and we have nothing to say. It's such a good point, Marco. Wow, like. Yeah, we're both going to reflect on that a lot.
I'm here to ruin your lives.
Yeah,
no. No.
But there is something to be said for eating junk food, and junk food is a you know, in a balanced diet, we need both. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to lose 40 pounds. Did I have frozen yogurt yesterday? Fuck yeah, I did. You know what I mean? Because there's a balance.
Is frozen yogurt bad?
No, it's delicious, but I mean, you put Oreos on it. And, okay, well, let's not get.
No, we can be
in
elitist
America,
about
it's like
American
this
food.
big.
We can. We're like, I feel as Europeans, we all have the right. I'm going to piss everyone off now. We have the right to be elitist about your dreadful food. You have
It's
lost
the fact that your bread is considered to be cake. In the EU. That's crazy.
Outrageous. Why does everything taste sweet? Anyway,
I know. Listen, I know. When I was doing that gig in France, I would eat a baguette a day, and I still managed to lose like 20. I mean, I was under eating because it was also majorly stressful to not speak a language and a major production. But I would eat a baguette every single day, like a full-on, like massive baguette.
I respect
that so much.
Speaking of Clair Obscur.
So yeah, Clair Obscur. Yeah, to bring it to Clair Obscur. So okay, I'm gonna get really personal and very vulnerable, and I wanted to say thank you. I mean, like, you know, I lost my dad 3 years ago, and you know, I've gone to therapy for it. I processed my grief, but as you both know, like, Expedition 33 was a game that I think it held grief. And I don't know what your experiences are with grief. We don't have to get into it, but it held grief in such a real spot. And one scene that really sticks to mind was, Jen, your performance at when spoilers for Expedition 33 right now. When you bury Gustav, and that scene, and I want to talk about that a little bit, because it's still like that scene was so real, and I was sobbing, like, on stream, like, just ugly crying. It was so real because that was literally your performance, and I'm so intrigued by how you found the thread at all. But like, that was my dad died of cancer, and the, not to get too real, but like the minute that he, like, once he died, or the conversation I had with him when we were finally alone, was exactly kind of like that conversation, you know.
Wow.
And I was sort of stunned by that, because it was like, how is it possible to curate the pain, the actual, like, words, and obviously the writing is really good, but like, for you specifically, like, how did you, I mean, besides just natural raw talent, obviously, but like, how did you, you know, how? I mean, how did you find that?
First of all, thank you, and thank you for sharing that, and
sorry for your loss.
Yeah, and I think it was one of the. It's so hard to talk about, because obviously Mael, like that character, she means so much to me in so many different ways. And I think, you know, as an actor, it's a bit of a dream to have a character with that level of depth and journey.
Yeah.
And there is something so monumentously challenging about that, because you want to honor every single moment, and when writing and art and your colleague, your fellow actors are that fucking good, like the pressure was really real. And yet at the same time there was something so not easy, but like something so natural to that role for me. Like I didn't have to go to a place that I hadn't been before. That is like good casting and luck. Well, not luck, but because we're talking about like the depths of emotion here. I think it's very easy as an actor. I think we've both experienced this in our own way. But when you've really experienced pain and you've really experienced loss and you've had those huge emotions, I suppose you have a choice to make as to whether you run away from them and create them kind of in a I am going to act way, or you go, fine, I will meet you. I will meet you there. You know, I have experienced a lot of loss and have been through a lot of grief, and the both of us have, and it's such a universal thing, and yet so unique to each person. And I suppose it was just about harnessing that, and that sounds really like almost callous in a way, but like there was something really, but it wasn't, and there was something really beautiful and cathartic about that. And I think I was very aware of the audience, which is bizarre when you're in a room on your own. I grew up doing theatre, and I did a lot of theatre after I graduated from drama school, and I don't think that audience interaction has ever left me. Like I'm always, even when I'm doing a video game performance, I almost imagine that audience there, that person at that computer or that TV screen. And I think you want to be able to honor that person watching it who has gone through the same experiences as you, and the same experiences as Mael. However, you know, fantastical they might be, there's something that you can always connect to. So it was cathartic, but it was also, I'm not gonna lie, really hard. And I think I'm still, like, every character you play, like, you carry around with you afterwards, and she's still very, very present. And that pain of hers, it still feels present. But I am so glad that I did go there, and that people have connected to that. I've waffled now. I don't know if any of that made sense.
It was perfect. I think grief is funny because it's like the big secret that no one talks about. And you really, it's funny because, like, you know, you don't really understand what it feels like until you experience it. And then it completely, depending on what it is or who it is, or, you know, if it's an animal or a parent or a sibling or whatever, like a cousin, there's the like before and then there's the after.
Yeah.
And I never thought about death before like that. And now it's like, you know, you think about death, you see death. I look at my dog and I'm like, I know you're going to destroy me in hopefully 10 years, you know, but like there's an awareness that comes with it where you're like, okay, I've experienced this. And then, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. Like taking that grief, and when you say harness it, to me, that just sounds like holding it in your hands and saying, this is the truth.
Yeah.
And then delivering on it. And obviously with training and a background in theater and understanding how the function of acting works. I mean, it's not to be taken for granted. So
you honored your character. You honored your character, and you didn't leave her behind, you know?
Yeah.
In that case, we'll listen to a nice song you both heard, but let's listen to Lumière because it's such a lovely tune. And I will say, I have a series where I invite non-gamer professional musicians. It's as my way to evangelize video game music, to come on and listen to music, kind of in the way we're doing, but a totally different conversation. They are obscenely obsessed with, they love it. Like, they love this soundtrack. And I think that's
How can you not? How can you not?
It's really special, and I feel, I feel you both should be just so proud of yourselves to be able to, I know a lot of luck comes into it, but to be able to be in this thing, like it's significant.
It's huge.
And I know you both know that, but
yeah, no, we're very lucky.
Going back to art, I remember speaking to Jennifer Svedberg again, the writer who wrote Clair Obscur Expedition 33 alongside Guillaume. And I don't want to speak for her, but I found it really fascinating when I asked her opinion on the game and how people are, what's the word when you make like what people are taking from it? Their
perspectives,
yeah, I suppose their perspectives on it, and where some people might be veering from what the point is or what the future of the game might be. They might be developing it into a film or a TV show. I don't know what they're going to do with it. She said that the way she sees her writing is she's created this child, that's her child, and then once the child is out in the world, it's not up to her. She doesn't dictate what happens next for that child. That child has its own life. And that's a really beautiful way to talk about art that you've created.
Composers do the same thing. Yes. I mean, because you can't have ownership over something once it's gone. Like even in words, I mean, and I know you both experienced this in your own interview questions and stuff. It's like you might say something that is so obviously accurate to you, and then someone twists it and all of a sudden you're saying something else that's not even real. And it's like, I guess, I mean, you can try to course correct, but at the end of the day, like it's not really yours to hold on to.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Les lames vacarmes s'en va dans l'oubli éternam et Gustave dom guardeam dilim didididilam lutes sera dodilam seram dim dim da 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 dim da 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 dim da di dam dim dim da 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 dim da 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 dim da di dam. Non, là-haut sera ravi, les toits à sœur noir gris fera. Clair, obscur, trouble de rature, couvrera effet. Clair, obscur, bordé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Clair, obscur, trouble de rature, couvrera effet. Clair, obscur, bordé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Oh, clair, obscur, trouble, rature. Clair, obscur, guardé aux peintures. Clair, obscur, trouble de rature, courera effet. Clair, obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Clair, obscur, trouble de rature, trouvera effet. Clair, obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle.
So I assume you're both
Yes.
super well acquainted with that.
Super well acquainted.
Still playing.
I love that the singers, you know, you've got the chorus, you've got the devs there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, those are all the devs?
Well, not all, I don't know which
Guillaume,
ones.
I know.
Some of the ones, like Guillaume, the director, is there.
Yeah.
Lorian,
Jen, the writer.
Yen. I swear we saw Elise again.
Yeah, at least the singer.
Yeah.
She's one of
the
But it could have been devs
Max
that were
Vance.
working on the game before we met them, like ones that have maybe moved on as well.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I love that.
Such a community feel with them.
What kind of comes to mind when you hear that music? Like what feelings or emotions kind of pop up for you guys?
For me, it's pride. That's how I feel about every aspect of that game. That team, 30 odd of them, making that incredible game out of pure passion and love for games and the art, and what an incredible story. So yeah, pride is my first. What about you?
For me, I think it's so jovial. It's so light. I almost feel like it's someone dancing on their feet, but so light with it, like almost maybe Mael or someone, like someone young. It's got that youthfulness to it, but then when the choir come in at the end, it suddenly becomes so moving and so there's a force to it. There's a strength in it that I'm like, oh, is that steeliness? Like, where is this? Because obviously it comes at the start of the game, and it's where is this going to now take us? I think Lorian, we saw him recently. I said, Lorian, how do you feel about your music being the main character of this game? And it was the sweetest look on his face. I think he was taken aback by someone saying that to him. I don't think he thought of it yet. And he was so vulnerable in that moment, but also proud and moved and just joyous. But I really do mean that. I think it is the main character. It wouldn't be what it is without that. It's the heart of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the core of it.
It really is.
And we've repeated fights over and over just so we can get a certain piece of music. We're literally we're OP for this. We don't need to do.
Oh my god! Yeah, flowing water. Yeah. Flowing waters. I love that track.
So good.
What about you?
Go Blue.
What is the music?
Yeah, what did
evoke in you?
For me, there's this like balance. Well, you know, Clair, Obscur, Chiaroscuro, light and dark. I mean, Chiaroscuro is like a fundamental part of singing. The balance between the front of the mouth and the lowered larynx, and the balance of the two. And obviously Shadow and Light with our emotions as well. So for me, when I hear it, I hear this like mixture of like a melancholic acceptance.
Melancholy, definitely.
There is this youthfulness in it, but at the same time, especially with the bouncing and stuff, but there's it's so deeply tender, and extremely vulnerable, you know. And you're right. I mean, I think like listening to this soundtrack now, it's really hard to pin down. I mean, there's so many. Don't worry about my camera. So my camera's going crazy. Chat as if they're here. Oh my god, brain rot. It reminds me a lot of. Have you ever played Nier Automata?
No,
we got into games after Baldur's Gate came out.
Put Nier Automata on your list.
Okay,
that's the one I think Ralph might have.
Oh yeah.
Oh, skill up.
Yes.
Yeah. If yes. Yeah. I think he and I probably feel the same about it. It's an extraordinary work, and much in the same way that this game sort of guides you through each arc with an emotional, like the emotional journey. With the performances, but also with the music, it really becomes this beautiful symbiosis of the two. And Nier Automata is the same way. A lot of vocals, and you know the thing is, like, vocal music is so audacious to have like soloists singing like in an overworld theme. Let's say.
Yeah, I love it, and I am an absolute sucker for choral music. Like honestly, as soon as you get a choir singing anything, I'm like turning Classic FM. I'm turning.
If you see Jen in public and she's crying,
because I'm
the chances are.
Like I was listening to what's the Russian? Is it Prokofiev or Rachmaninoff?
Oh, I don't know.
You do know.
I don't know.
Wait.
This is a song that Jen sang to me, and she was like, "Am I getting any of these words right? I learnt it in drama school." I'm like, "No, not a single word. I don't know what words you're trying to say."
And it honestly, like, wait.
I think you're saying something about God. Are you going to sing it?
No.
She's got Shazam up, so I'm like, are you going to sing it into Shazam? No. Shazam won't know either, baby.
Have either of you read Evgeny Onegin?
Yes.
Have you ever read it?
Oh my god, I've seen it 3 times on stage in Russia.
Or the stage show.
Yeah, but speaking of consuming art or experiencing it, Russian theatre is incredible, but also it's a bit of a marathon, and seeing it the
course,
third
yeah.
time, and all the shows were 3 hours minimum by the third one. Because when I did this, the theatre training at Moscow Art Theatre, part of it was to watch a lot of theatre shows. I think we had like 32 in 6 weeks. How is that even possible? So I think by the third Evgenia Onegin, I had to leave because I was like, I can't. I know the story. I've seen it. And there was one was an opera, and that's not the one I left. But I did have to leave one because I was just like,
Tchaikovsky.
I need to go to sleep. I have been sitting in theatres because you start really early in the classes. I'm a performer. If someone leaves the theatre, yes, it can throw me off a little bit. I'm like, oh my god, have I done something wrong? But ultimately, everyone has their own shit going on, so I do just kind of give people grace. But I've just gone on a tangent there to say that I left one of the performances because but
That's fine.
that would have been 9
most
hours
operas
of
at intermission.
Evgenia Onegin in like
No, I'm good.
That's a
I'm
lot.
good. I'm good.
That's
No,
a lot.
I've
You should see the opera though if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I think you
yeah.
should.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
The opera's amazing.
wait.
Um, why did you bring it up?
Because we were talking about Russian, and I keep thinking of Lenski's aria where he goes kuda, kuda, kuda.
I love that.
So beautiful.
Oh no, you are actually saying the words right.
Bogoroditsya Devil. Rachmaninoff.
Oh,
Yeah, obviously
Duh.
not. Duh.
that's a choral piece. So you're
Yes.
saying you're a sucker because
Yeah,
if you're
because
crying,
oh
it's
yeah,
different.
that was it. Back on track. Yeah, there's something about a group of humans singing together in harmony that just like it literally like it feels like my chest is expanding.
Yeah.
Like I get full body like I get goosebumps so easily when it comes to music specifically. It's like I can see like deep purples and reds. Like there's something that like just tingles.
It's ephemeral, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
No.
not ephemeral.
No.
What's the word?
Visceral.
No, it's something that you can't. It's not tangible.
It's not tangible.
But I think that's why we love
Intangible.
intangible. I think that's why we love choir.
Yeah, I love
So there's
choir.
vibrations in the
Yeah.
room. Isn't there like a happy hormone that is produced when you sing with a choir?
Definitely.
Dopamine.
Is it
Probably.
I can't relate because every time I sang with a choir, I was having a panic attack. But other than that, I'm sure there is one. Meanwhile,
prefer-
I'm like, I'm gonna shit myself
Yeah.
if I'm still here next to these people.
Yeah, it's different when you're a soloist.
yeah.
But the choral music, as soon as like there's any kind of choral music in this soundtrack specifically, Lorian, like I don't know what he does, but I'm like you know when you grab cats by the scruff of their neck and they kind of freeze.
Yeah.
It does that to me.
Man's a magician.
Man's a magician.
Man's a
Elise is
And he's
incredible.
lovely as well. Oh, Elise is, again, such a lovely human being as well, both of them.
Sandfall is very generous. I had several devs that were on my streams for it. It was very
Oh,
emotional
wonderful.
for me to have them
Yeah.
be there. And just pivoting slightly, I was curious. Like, I don't fully want to leave Clair Obscur, but probably should.
I never wanted it.
Has it been overwhelming to be in a position where suddenly you're like household names, like, and people know you, and you know Baldur's Gate 3, as we pivot to that, like there's voracious fans of Clair Obscur as well. Is it scary? Is it stressful? Is it overwhelming? Or is it it's also joyful and amazing, right? But like, what's it like for you guys to like be in this position?
I would say we're still adjusting.
Yeah, I feel that we're definitely still adjusting. I think obviously our lives completely changed post Baldur's Gate 3 and in a huge way that we'd never expected. And, you know, that has its ups and downs. And
Definitely change our lives for the better, but yeah, there's
for sure,
challenges.
it's mostly joy. It felt like with Clair Obscur, like it kind of deepened in a way that I wasn't expecting at all.
Yeah.
Neither of us were really, because you know it's such an indie game. Like we knew it might be a big thing because Andy Serkis and because of the cast really, Ben Starr, Andy Serkis, Charlie Cox,
And you.
Sure, but you know, like I've done other games
And you.
that are small, that haven't, had that impact. And
I think where you did more press,
yes,
Jen has become more recognisable, or people are just more confident to approach. But I would say, sorry to interrupt you.
No, go.
Have you formulated your thought?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. No. You formulate.
Oh, I know my thought.
No, you go. I want to hear what
Are you going to remember your thought?
I'm going to remember my thought. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. I would say it's a double-edged sword because at the same time, having the both of us, we're in one household, we're a partnership, having both of us experience it at the same time is amazing because, wait, does that make it a double-edged sword? No, I don't know.
Get the message.
You haven't gotten to the other edge yet.
It's maybe it's a contradiction. I don't know. It's I feel like some people might experience this and their partner might, or whoever they live with, or their friends and family might not understand what they're going through, so that you wouldn't have that same support, whereas we both get it with each other and therefore are there for each other as much as possible and see it and validate, but at the same time we're both experiencing it, therefore the pressure's on both of us. Sometimes it would be nice if only one of us was experiencing this, and like
The balance.
yeah, like Deborah Wild, who plays Lae'zel in Baldur's Gate 3, is like a really like one of our closest friends from all of this. It's been a gift that's one that came from doing this.
Yeah.
Her husband has nothing to do with games, has no idea what this is, not nowhere close to our industry, and so she gets to go home and be kind of normal. Not normal, but it doesn't really...
It doesn't take up the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for us, it sort of does, because we sort of live, breathe and sleep this, because it's both of us. Does that make it a double-edged sword or a contradiction?
I think a double-edged sword in that we've got the
Double-edged
support and the validation, but also and understanding, but also
You can't turn it
You
off.
Can't turn it off. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I've been pointing a lot today.
It's okay. And you were talking about a deepening?
Deepening,
After
yeah.
What was your point?
So I think very like tangible things like, social media following, but also being recognized on the street, which, is weird because our faces are not being involved, but I suppose we do a lot of press and streaming and stuff. But, I'd say, I think we worked out that it was about once a week, maybe less, depending on what kind of show we'd been on, or, like what thing we'd done, or, like presenting Future Games Showcase, or, something like that, like might, to kind of put you in people's minds. So about once a week, somebody might go, "Oh, you shadow heart." Aliona's doing this.
What's the point?
What's the point? Whereas now it's pretty much every day, and which is wild. And it will calm down. Yeah, that was one.
Wow.
There was
Not
one
the
day,
days we don't leave our house.
not the days we don't leave.
Well, yeah.
But like every day I leave the
Except
house.
for right now.
Yeah, so I think there was a day last week or the week before where it was 3 times in one day, and that was wild. And there was like, I feel like humans aren't supposed to be like, we're not like, I feel like we're not developed enough to kind of cope with that. Like there's and this is niche, like a niche thing, like let alone, somebody actually like Hollywood star like Harry Styles or whatever.
Sure.
Like I can't fathom that. But like this isn't what we do it for. We're not doing it for that. It's a lovely juicy byproduct where we really get a lovely interaction with our audience, and I am so grateful for it.
How does it make you feel?
But it's quite anxiety inducing as well, because there's awareness where there didn't used to be. And also like when I'm doing roles going forward, I'm not thinking, oh, this will be lovely for me because I get to stretch this muscle and nobody's going to care, it's just a credit on the CV. Whereas now I'm going, oh shit, we have audiences. What will they enjoy this? What will they get from it? What will they think of this? There's a responsibility there as well, and going, does this reflect my values? There's just another layer to it, and that's really wonderful, and I'm like, there's nothing but gratitude. But at the same time, part of you misses the time where you could just take a role like
for the fun of it,
villager number 3, and just get the money and run.
And you've had to put a wall up probably too with the people that enter into the space. Like, I mean, and do you feel like there's like a protection for you, Aliona, like this feeling? Now I'm self-conscious about this name. I swear.
No, you say
you do it great.
All right, perfect. Like, do you feel like there's like a, maybe for you, Jen, it's like having to put the wall up and not just be able to be yourself, and then Aliona, do you feel like you have to protect Jen in a way? So that adds a pressure to both of you in your own lives. I mean, out of curiosity, not to get too.
No. Put a wall up. You mean in public?
Or just with people?
Yeah, like you can't just be with people. Like
we don't put up walls, and that's the problem. We need to learn to put up the walls. We are rubbish at putting up the walls. We have no wall. We have no masonry experience.
I said this the other day. It's so hard for us because we meet people and they might be a fan, and we get confused because we're like, if not friend, why friend shaped?
Yeah.
Why can't we just get along like friends? But we have to be responsible now with sort of our reputations. And I wanted to add to what you said of when we take on roles, we have a responsibility now because there's going to be a lot more attention on them. And yes, that puts pressure on us, but at the same time, it also, I guess it gives us more confidence to say no if the quality isn't quite right, or if the
before I wouldn't do that. Like I would just be like, yes, sure, I need work,
of course.
I need money.
Yes.
If there's morally or ethically any questions over a project now, we either push back, and we have had success of changes have been made because we're like, this is not okay, and therefore we won't agree to do it unless, and we've been heard, which has been fantastic, or we say no, which is really nice to be in that sort of position of power and use it responsibly. I would also add to what you were saying about sort of being recognised. It has put a pressure on where before you could just leave the house and look a certain way and not care, be really relaxed. And now, like, we've even been recognised in our neighbourhood a couple of times. And suddenly, especially with you, I notice it of you have to think about.
I can't just go out in greasy hair and Crocs. I mean, I do. You definitely do. But
people want to get a photo.
Yeah, and
you're like,
there is a self-consciousness, I suppose, that comes with it, and I think that we will
drop the clip I was playing with.
we will ease into it in time, but we also have to be very conscious of our mental health around it, and and especially me, because I do struggle with it a lot, and I'm quite open about that. It is something that I definitely have to work on in therapy, and also just like the self-care has to, like, you know, which I struggle with giving myself self-care anyway, like, you know, especially as a neurodivergent person, mainly because I forget that self-care is a thing, that it's an option, but like, resting and doing the nourishing things for myself is it, like, I have to do that tenfold now, whereas before, you know, I could get away with not. Well, actually, no, I never could. But going forward, especially post Clair Obscur, that is also a huge, if not the priority, is making sure the mental health is okay.
Absolutely. And you're going to have to edit this down so much. I feel bad, but you're asking such good questions.
You are.
No, I'm not going to edit
you're
that.
You're asking such good questions, so good. But I wanted to add, on top of all of that, we're a genuine couple. We're not something to be consumed. And I love that people celebrate our relationship, and I love that we can give that people that representation, especially people in countries where we can't exist so publicly, or we couldn't potentially exist. But we are a genuine couple, and we have to treat our relationship as almost not a priority, but there's a sanctity to it that we have to honor. And so we try and switch off from the being in public view every now and again, and go away together and just be ourselves, especially nice places where, when I say nice, as in it's nice to go to places where people have no idea.
Oh yeah, the Lake District, not a massive.
The north of England, very
obviously there are gamers there, but it like, you know,
it's less likely. It's not a city.
Yeah,
I just wanted to add that. Yeah, we have to be very conscious of that.
Yeah, whereas before we didn't ever have to think about that, because there is not that we're not ourselves, and we are completely ourselves, and maybe that is the issue, is that, like, and there's a lot of actors we know and love that do have a very much a persona when they are streaming or in interviews or something, and we just don't really have that. And maybe we should have it, but I kind of also don't want to have that.
We don't have the stamina to keep that up.
Or the memory. So it's treading that balance of not sharing too much and also being as genuine and authentic as you can. So it's just learning.
Absolutely. There was I remember I was on the phone with a person, and I was like, I hate that I have to pretend to be something I'm not. And especially in the opera days, it was really hard. Like when I first signed, at one point I was with like a very high profile like opera agency that actually folded during the pandemic, and like I remember I came in for a meeting, and it's like, it's the type, it's like the hyper corporate agency where you're like, what the and I was like, I just like to sing, like I just and they were like, you need to change your brand image, you need to change the way you, and it obviously wasn't a good fit.
Nice.
And I was already on my way out anyway, so mentally I was not really with it. But all that to say, like, I get it. It's tough because you're both in it. You both have your own dreams and pursuits, and like, a monumental success and monumental changes, and kind of in a short notice. I mean, like, really, if you think about it, it's like BG3 and Clair Obscur basically back to back.
Yeah. How lucky is that?
Cyberpunk is a big one.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing, right?
And Liza P. Yeah.
However,
Cyberpunk came out just after BG3 as well.
Yeah.
And I recorded it while we were doing BG3. But also at the same time, it gives us these amazing opportunities.
Oh,
because
for sure.
I'm sure you are aware of this as a performer. Once you have a certain amount of credits and a certain amount of credibility with that, better projects come your way. So it's you kind of have to play this game if you want to do not the meaningful. You can still find the meaningful projects, but it does help. It does help.
Yeah.
For the meteor roles to come to you.
1,000,000%. And also the financial remuneration to be able to do and live, because we all know that starving artists, it's not glamorous.
Yeah.
So speaking of BG3.
Yeah.
So obviously this was monumental. So I wanted to talk to you both, and I guess we'll not talk too at length because there's like two more things I would like to do if we can. Aliona, you were behind the glass as director. Now, were there other directors?
Yes.
Were you the main?
No. I always want to make sure people know that I was part of a team.
Right.
So when we recorded the game, Larian outsourced the recording to Pit Stop Studios in Croydon, in London. And for all the recording sessions, almost all, we had a voice director and a performance director. So I was the performance director. I worked with the voice director. My focus was the movement. Yeah, the mocap. The voice director takes control of the session. They're in charge. And then the performance director is their wing woman or wing man. Wing person. I don't think there's anything else to add to that. That's kind of the job. Yeah. And obviously at Larry, and then there's other directors that are above us, and they're the ones that feed down information to us and sort of oversee. So I do sometimes see like Larry and Dev. I'm like, I'm not a Larry and Dev. I worked with Larian or director of Baldur's Gate. I'm like, no, that's not me.
Nope.
That would be Sven.
Please don't
give
me that label.
Sven's job away. He might be grass.
No. There was a whole team, and there were some voice directors who were full time. All of the performance directors were freelance. So myself and a guy called Gabriel probably worked on it the most as the performance directors. I'd say Gabriel worked on it the longest. He saw out the whole 4.5 years. I was there for 4 years. And we were there 2 to 3 times a week, sometimes more, sometimes 4 days a week. I think at 5 I was like, I'm at capacity, I can't. You start to not be able to do it as much as well, and you don't want the quality to drop. So it would almost always be you either have Gabriel or Aliona on your session, and then towards the end a lot more were hired. And at the beginning there were other directors as well, performance directors, but we were the 2 main ones.
As an actor and obviously a mocap mocap actor, but mocap performer, like how did it feel for you to be like on the sort of the back? I mean, obviously you also acted in Baldur's Gate 3, but like, was it odd to sort of guide others as a person who also, enjoys being?
There was definitely some imposter syndrome at the start. There was definitely like, oh my god, and I was very young when I started, so I was like, oh, why am I being trusted to do this? I don't know what I'm doing, but I did know what I was doing, and I think that's why they trusted me and gave me as much work as they did on the job, because I auditioned for Shadowheart, didn't get it, then 6 months later was asked would I like to direct, or someone who was directing it said they have like this troupe, her name's Sarah Perry, troupe of mocap actors. She sent out a general email to say, would anyone like to direct on this project? And I was like, oh, that's that project? Send them my mocap reel. I have no directing experience. See what they say. Hoping that they would say, actually, you should be in the game as an actor. Then I got a phone call to be like, hey, this is that project. Would you like to? And I'm like, act in it? Would you like to direct in it? I was like, yeah? But I needed the money. So I was like, I will.
Yeah.
And I realized it would be a really great opportunity to learn. I took up directing, but they were only offering me 2 sessions. They just needed cover. So I came in, did those 2 sessions, and they were like, hey, you're kind of good at this. Would you like to do more? And so I was like, why not? Let's do the thing I'm scared of. And initially there was a sense of why am I the one leading people who are a lot more experienced than I am? But no one had the mocap experience I had. They were more experienced as actors, but most people didn't have mocap experience. Therefore, I was able to lead them and help and guide. And as the process went on, I got better at directing because a lot of it is communication. And that is something I lacked in at the beginning. And luckily when I started, it was pre-pandemic. So if I couldn't communicate with words, I could physically show and demonstrate.
Right.
But then we switched to working from home. And that's when I really had to get better at communicating just over Zoom what I needed from the actor. And then I would say it was quite quick at like learning, right?
Oh, you would. So Aliona, the first 2 sessions I worked with her, I want to work with this woman. She's amazing. I barely knew her at all. And, but I just knew she was brilliant. And so before we were even friends, I was asked which team I would like to have around me to direct Shadowheart. And, it was Beth Park and Aliona Baranova, and they pretty much, like, obviously we had other directors come in and Beth wasn't always available, but you pretty much stayed my performance director for nearly every session and Beth for the majority. So it was really beautiful to have this team, and Beth and Aliona are really...
And this is before we got together as well.
Way before we got together. But it was just a really beautiful creative collaboration, and it was wonderful alchemy. And Beth and Aliona are very strong-willed, opinionated women.
No.
And we clash a lot.
I've known her for an hour and a half.
There was some clashing, but in a really beautiful, but
in an artistic way.
Not in a personal way at all. But it was just a really wonderful.
We work really well together.
Yeah, it was a really great working environment, and everyone was just fighting for the quality. And like even when they clashed, it was about just finding the right choice and the right combination to get the truth out of this for this story. And everyone just cared about Shadowheart so much and the game so much. So it was an incredible thing to be a part of, and I'm very grateful that, like, just on a professional, like, let alone falling in love and all of that business, but I'm just so grateful that on a professional level that I got to meet Aliona and Beth and work with them so closely, because it improved me as a performer no end.
How did you take my question and
make it about myself?
She's an actor.
God's favourite princess. So anyway, as I was saying, that was beautiful, thank you.
I was complimenting
No, because in my head I was like,
no, she was piggybacking. Piggybacking support.
I really appreciate
that's a sign of a good
I
partner.
really appreciate that.
That's
honestly,
a sign of a good partner.
I like and just to
fighting.
Come back to the answer was, I think, because also I had done gymnastics and coached gymnastics. That's one of the reasons I was good at it, because I could see the body moving in isolation and can pick up on like little, like with you, where you had a bit of tension, and with other people, I was able to like really help them
work through habits and pick up on where the truth wasn't being told through the body. And not every director is brave enough to push through that, and you know. You definitely are.
Well, I mean, let alone the anxiety of even performing and like having to relax your body and to like I used to have a tick on stage where I would put my hand in my back pocket because it was just like I just needed to rest my hand on my ass.
Love that. Comfort your butt. Comfort your butt.
Yeah, comfort. But in a situation like that, it's not true to a character, so you can't. I mean, were you wearing a full suit?
Yeah.
No, it was just the head.
Yeah.
No, of course it's
full suit.
Full makeup. Yeah.
Oh my
Everyone
God,
in those
that
pajamas.
Yeah.
I would just be so stressed out.
And that's the point of the performance director as well, to make sure, safe environment, make sure the actor feels at ease and can really embody what their character is going through. And I think some directors are a bit polite and don't want to push their performers, whereas I think because I am an actor, I knew that I would do them a disservice if I just let them flounder. Instead, I'd rather them know that I perceive you, I see everything your body is doing. So let's guide you through this. Let's take you by the hand and get you to where you need to be to feel confident and at ease enough to really live in this character
in a gentle but assertive way. Which is, I mean, I think that's kind of the best kind of teaching is guiding by with a soft hand, but
Absolutely.
also being firm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For you, Jen, I mean, like this was a massive sort of undertaking. I mean, obviously it changed both your lives, but like, was there any trepidation when going through something? So, and obviously you've had other roles before and you've done tons of theater and things, but like, was it like overwhelming?
Yes, absolutely. But we didn't know. I was told that it would be about 20 hours, like that I'd do about 20 hours, I think, at the beginning. And that it would be fine. A few sessions. If I'd known that it was a 4.5-year job,
you would have shit
and
yourself,
it would be the success it was, I would not know. I would have probably floundered from the start. No, thank God we had no idea. I think Neil knew because he knew the kind of he knows that world a lot more. So I think he was very aware of it and he was cognizant of that, but I had no clue. I didn't even know what a convention was, let alone
you didn't know.
Well, I knew that it was a place where nerds went, and that
probably not something you ever expected to be a part
but
of,
I didn't know that there were panels and signings and whatever
that.
So I just didn't really know that this universe. I hadn't played games since I was a kid. I was just it's a really wonderful acting job, and now my life has completely changed. My day-to-day has completely changed. I did shit myself at the beginning, but not as much as I could have shat myself. Basically, it was a shart, not a shit,
Shart!
Yeah. Oh, the sharts are, anyway.
You're going to do it.
Let's...
We're doing perfectly.
Oh, yeah, shart. That's right. You're
Yay, you did it.
Yay. I think for the purpose of time, we won't listen to music. But what I would say is, I'm sure you've heard your fair share of Baldur's Gate 3 music.
And live. And live. We saw it live.
Yeah, that's right. At the concert.
Yeah. We have the record.
We do.
It's astounding to me that Boриslav Slavov is creating music that is middle-aged centric from the Middle Ages, and millions of people have resonated with it.
True.
That is an astounding feat.
It's incredible. He is a talent and such a lovely man.
Oh, yeah.
Such a lovely man, and
gentle.
Again, pride. But seeing, I think we didn't really. I mean, we appreciated the music, but not until we saw it live.
Yeah.
And Aliona was
with the people.
and having that atmosphere, and Borislav behind us.
What was I?
You were sobbing.
Oh yeah, I was.
You were sobbing. No, you were ugly crying.
I was ugly crying.
You nearly took yourself out of the audience.
Yeah.
You were crying so much because you were I don't want to distract people. Yeah. And also people were we hadn't thought about
South Bank Centre?
The Royal Festival Hall.
Royal Festival Hall.
And we hadn't quite contemplated the fact that
in this venue,
and everyone would know who we were. Because it was really early on, and so we were so everyone was turning around to see us, and you were just there
she's
yeah.
It was really bizarre.
People watching us crying, me crying,
yeah,
and I was kind of heaving.
Yeah, you're like,
and I was just like, oh, I think I should leave the room because it's going to distract from the music. And Bobby is sat behind. I can believe. Which song was it?
I don't know. Could have been anything.
It's good music though, isn't it?
It's great music. It's really good music.
It's great music.
It was just so moving with the orchestra.
It's so emotive and
the
important, and
singers.
like one of my favorite pieces is in that is the music around. I mean, very selfishly, but is the night song that section at the end of Act 2. Like it's
that's what I brought. That's so
no,
funny.
I
Not even knowing it.
love that.
So we just collected the dog that we were meant to be looking after. So
So now the dog.
so you
is
might
here.
hear some pattering. Do you want to come and say hello? Do you want to say hello to everyone? On Marcus.
Say hi to everybody.
Channel? What? Wiggly. Well, yeah. Suki.
hi.
Suki.
Oh,
Suki.
yo, yo,
Suki.
yo.
Look over here. Look at it.
Suki,
Suki.
Suki.
Oh, now you've been fun.
Hi.
He's a bat.
Oh my. Oh, so cute.
but nobody tell the owners we picked him up half hour later than we said we would.
Don't watch this video.
Zuki's parents. You know nothing.
So, as we move into work past Baldur's Gate 3 and Clair Obscur, like with Liza P, for instance, do you feel like your work on with Veronique, do you feel like everything has kind of changed because of Baldur's Gate 3 and sort of made you more confident, made you more capable?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that. One of the reasons I wanted to take up directing, even though that's not who I am and I've not done it since, is because I knew I could learn from the actors. And as I was saying, like I was sometimes intimidated. At the beginning, I was somewhat intimidated by some of the more experienced actors, like Tim Downey, for instance, had such a screen career behind him, and all of a sudden, I'm giving him direction. But instead, I learnt so much, and like I said, I could give direction because I knew more about mocap, but I learnt so much from the more experienced actors on that job about coming to your role with ease and confidence and trusting the directing team and that everyone is there to support you and guide you, and about commitment to the role. One thing I learned from dear Jen here, how to commit to, like with Veronique, I knew.
Oh my god, you committed.
Because I did.
She beat my ass.
Because from you, I learned sort of, you can't hold back. You just can't. You're not going to do that character justice if you do. And I think one of the reasons I really wanted to direct was I'd already done mocap training because I wanted to work in games more. And I thought, oh, this is where I'm going to learn a lot about how to do game acting well. And I sure did.
Yeah, you did.
I'm just now distracted by the dog walking around. Zuki.
No, it's okay. He'll settle.
It's just his little feet on the floor. You have to give it your all. You can't. You're cheating the audience if you don't. And people know, especially when it's just your voice. You might be able to cheat them a little bit, like screen. You can kind of cheat your audience.
Absolutely.
Theatre, you can cheat the audience.
Smoke and mirrors.
Even mocap and voice, you can cheat the audience a little bit. Voice alone, you can't. They can hear it. They know when you're connected and not. And so with that intensity of that role, I knew I had to throw everything at it, throw my whole self at it. And I'm glad I did. And when we recorded, at the end of the session, the developers were there and everyone gave me a round of applause.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. I mean, I had to have multiple sessions, but at the very end of it, because of all of the screaming and all of the
screaming.
Because it's a very intense, like she's been tortured, mentally tortured. Yeah. So you have no choice. And it was relentless, but you had no choice. And that is something I learned from Baldur's Gate, especially your barbarian roar. But also
that's a niche reference. Unless you respect Shadowheart as a barbarian, you wouldn't hear.
I've just seen so many supercuts of everyone's sort of barbarian roars, and the ones who really commit to it. Speaking of Tim Downey, his is very funny. He just goes, "Ha."
How would Gale be a barbarian like that?
He just ate something off the floor, and I don't know what that was.
No, the dog, not Tim.
He's not
clarify.
there. He's on all fours right now. I mean, the commitment part is really challenging because it's like you're reading the lines. I mean, without getting into process, that would be way too long of a conversation. When you find lines and you read lines for the first time, how What's the process like? Can you tell me in like 30 seconds, like when you pick up a script, both of you, like what, how do you decide to commit?
Mine is very simple. I pick up the script and I go, Jen, help me. Jen, you're far more experienced than I am. Please help me. Every time.
For me, like, it's so hard with games because most of the time you might not get a script in advance, or you do and it just doesn't make any sense because it's just a spreadsheet with words on that have no context. So a lot of it is kind of very fast decisions, and I don't think I would be able to do the job I do now 15 years ago. Like, I think it's taken this amount of practice over different mediums to get to that like instinctual point. It's like your brain has to work so quickly, and you have to listen to direction and listen to context and absorb that and then create something truthful out of that in literal seconds, and it's really hard.
What's your process?
But my process is asking questions and either finding the answers out through detective work myself with a script and kind of going, right, okay, what do we think's just happened? Why is this person acting in the way they are? What do they want? It's kind of going back to that Stanislavski classic, like, what do they want? How are they going to get it? What would I do given circumstances? What would I do in that person's position? But kind of creating this world using your imagination, which is, like I've learned from Baldur's Gate 3, is definitely a muscle that I remember at the beginning of Baldur's Gate 3, it was so hard for me to picture it was harder for me to picture what the directors were describing, and now I can do it so quickly. And so I'm like, oh, it's definitely a muscle, which is really cool. And I think it's something you lose as an adult because you have it as a kid when you're playing imaginary games. You have it no problem.
Right.
You tell a kid, like, pretend to be a dinosaur, they can just do it, like, automatically. Whereas, like, for us, it would be there's a lot of resistance there for a start, and we just don't use it as much. And so a lot of imagination work. Aliona describes it as the Olympics of acting, video game acting, and I think that's so true. Like, if you can, not all actors can act in video games, but I feel like a lot of video games can act in any other medium because it takes so much commitment, as you said, imagination, practice, instinct, like all these different things. Aliona's so distracted by the dog.
Sorry, he walked through the wires of our record player a second ago, and I was like,
it's
if
a very good
pull down our record player, I'm gonna be sorry to the audience. We had no choice, so we said we'd look after this dog.
Do you both still want to do as much as possible, or do you feel like at this point you're both sort of, I mean, I know that Jen, you have
Tides of Annihilation.
We both do.
Gwendolyn.
Yeah, we both do.
Oh,
we're
you're both in
that. So Aliona's playing
the antagonist.
The antagonist.
So you've watched this?
Are you fucking serious? I did not know that.
So we're working on that together, which is really cool. But no, I think we're both being quite careful about what we choose, and it's definitely a less is more. I think I don't. This might be coming from a place of insecurity, but I'll be honest about it. I don't want people to get bored of my voice, and we don't have a choice as to whether we do different accents or not. Like, I a lot of the time I don't know, I don't have any option to go, actually, I'd like to do this in American or Irish or whatever. Like I think people think, oh, she's choosing this kind of voice, or she's choosing these characters. We don't have any power or choice as far as that is concerned.
Yeah.
And I think I would rather do fewer projects and people not be completely overtired at me.
Saturate. Yeah. Jen worries about oversaturation.
Well, there is such a thing as oversaturation.
Yeah, I also think in screen you often have in theatre you have your lead character, like your stars or your main characters of a project, leading lady, leading man, and then you have your character actors. And I think you haven't chosen this life, but you have you are a leading lady, and therefore often
very
when
wonderful. Can I just say, very wonderful problems to have.
Yeah, absolutely. But leading lady in games, and I think that often, like much like Ben Starr, it's often going to be most similar to your own voice. Where I've had the luxury of being more of a character actor in games, where I get to explore different voices, and I'm less recognizable in those roles. Like, you're not recognizing me as Mordred in Tides of Annihilation. It's a short clip as well. Most people didn't know that was me. And same in Lies of P. Most people didn't recognize me as Veronique. And I think it's because I have the luxury of playing very different roles from me, whereas yours more leading. Yeah.
And those are individual strengths. I mean, absolutely. It was funny. I was in a game called Genshin Impact.
Oh, nice.
And I played this character. Yeah, I played this character. It was a pretty large NPC called Dvorak, where he was a conductor, and it was all about music and the power of music.
Wow.
And he was, like,
Perfect for you.
Yeah, it was nice. And then I was in a Metal Slug in another mobile game where I played a character named Marco Rossi, of all things. And it was interesting how I just kind of just play myself at varying degrees. But I remember some of the feedback was like, well, it's really hard he just seems like he's just talking like himself. And I was like, that is what acting is.
I think people get very confused about what acting is what I've learned. Yeah. And, people will be like, but her voice is just like Shadowheart's, and I'm like, yeah,
that's my voice.
That's my voice. My voice. If you want a funny voice factory, go somewhere else. Like wonderful, like Fred Tattershaw, who's so one of the most incredible performers. Insane. And he literally will give you you'll be in a car with him and he'll do his different voices and sounds, and you're like, that is a type of actor that exists and is enormously talented. But there are different types of actor. You've got
that's more for animation as well.
Yeah,
I think we should feed the dog.
I think
that's what he's looking around for. Yeah. And can we just quickly? Yeah, I think.
I'm just going to quickly feed the dog.
I also wanted to add. I'm going to try and distract while Jen does that, about imagination. Sure. Something that Jen is so talented at, and I've realised this is a muscle I need to work on. Jen's visual imagination is, like she was saying, is so strong. And I think it's because she reads fiction books a lot. I don't picture things the way she does, and it helps her so much in her roles. And which is why when I get an audition through, when I'm working on a game or anything else like a screen, a TV project, I ask Jen for her help, because she instantly can picture the world in such vivid detail that it will take me time to get to where Jen's at. I can sit down, and maybe it's because I'm more logical brained, but I can sit down and go through the circumstances and do the work of an actor of figuring out what's going on. But it requires me to figure it out. Whereas for Jen, you just... I think, its brains are all different. For Jen, she can read the description and read what's happening.
I'm back. The dog is being fed.
Thank you. She can just read the scene once and go, well, this is what's going to impact the character, and this is important to them, and da-da-da-da. Whereas I need to be methodical about it. It's almost like a calculation. Sit and write it out and figure it out, and Jen just has this instantly. Yeah. And I don't know whether that's from recording Baldur's Gate for 4 years, therefore 4.5 years for you. Yeah. Therefore, that, like you were saying, that muscle is stronger. But I was just saying how quick you are with your imagination.
I think it's because I read a lot. Is that what you just said?
I said that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
I read, and when I read, I picture, it comes to me like a film. So I think that helps. And so
right?
I do think that, but I think that it's kind of going back to art and nourishment. And I personally believe, and it's so wonderful we're talking about music as well, but I think as an artist, whatever medium you work in, you cannot neglect other art forms, because they will entirely feed into your work. And I think a lot of the time we do. And I firmly believe that we as artists should write bad poetry, and we should draw, and we should exercise all these different muscles.
Go to art galleries.
Listen to
watch opera.
But we need to, yes, we're performers, but we're artists first and foremost. And I think if we neglect any part of art, or if we neglect other parts of art, then I think we suffer as a performer, and I think we gain so much more by reading, by listening to music. Like you're a lot better at listening to music than I am, and I think that feeds into your work in a way that is really special and quite feral, actually. And I think that's part of your like music. No, but I think
She calls me feral all the time.
yeah, but there is that.
It's a compliment.
It is entirely a compliment.
Yeah.
And I think if I had any advice for like younger actors or younger artists, it's surround yourself with art and nourish yourselves, and don't consume it. Nourish yourselves.
Do you have another song
it.
for us?
Yeah, actually, so I wanted to pivot to
Hi, Carlotta.
Yeah. Hold on. There's this book.
That's cyberpunk art.
Good art.
I want to know what the other arts are.
What have you got?
Theater Games for the Lone
Ooh.
Actor.
Oh, Viola
By
Spolin.
Viola Spolin.
I've read something by her.
Theater Games for the Lone Actor, a handbook. Because you were talking about imagination. And now I say this as someone who's taken an improv course, and then I have the book on my shelf and I've never opened it again.
Classic.
Right? You have to essentially like imagine you're in a boat, a canoe. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is it, stuff like that. So I just, you were talking about imagination, and the whole course was about improv and how
You've
to
written that down.
imagine.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then talking of non-fiction, or wait,
Fiction.
Fiction is not real. I don't know if you like dark, but Between Two.
Ooh.
Jan loves dark.
It's bubonic
Ooh.
angels and
Great.
demons.
Nice.
Why are you looking like... Nope. I'm writing between...
What
What was it called?
Between Two Fires. I read the shit out of this book. I wanted to talk about Wuthering Waves because I feel like... Okay, so Jen, now I've heard... I saw an interview where someone had asked you about this, and you had said, I'm paraphrasing, but something about like how it really meant a lot to you. And I was curious, well, why?
What do you mean? The character?
Why? Yeah, why do you think you connected with Carlotta? Because, I mean, the performance is amazing, because it's like, it's got some aspects of Shadowheart, but it's also, and honestly, some aspects of Mael, but there's a real purity
There
in Carlotta
is.
in the sense of justice and rightness, but like, how was that for you? Like, why did you feel connected to it?
This
I'm
is what's
sorry.
happening
this
right
is,
now.
I don't know why
Uh-oh.
he's gone like this.
It's really good you're asking about Wuthering Waves because Jen doesn't get to talk
I
about
don't
it
get to
enough.
talk about it. Like, interviews don't ask about it, and it's such a huge...
Because it's a gotcha
But
game.
it's... Can you stop it, please?
Look at this.
I don't know what's going on.
You're not a Wuthering Waves fan, are you?
Not a whether he's got a real problem with
He said
gacha
it's a
games.
gacha
Yeah,
game.
he's very dismissive.
Gambling.
You're being very snobby.
Why have you gone absolutely mad?
Say I'm feral.
Has Tiana put cocaine in your food? Like, what is going on? So
Is he gonna attack your? What the fuck?
I think you should just answer and ignore him.
he's going to die.
Yeah. See if you can do that. People will love this, by the way. This is on
It's very
brand.
on brand.
Right, this is not our dog. Carlotta came at a time where I absolutely had no time to record any games. We were kind of doing this Baldur's Gate 3 kind of world. Well, I say world tour. It was actually no. We
North
had to-
America, Europe, and China.
But
It was the junket.
well,
Yeah.
it
No, the junket was conventions.
conventions, and
We're just very
Oh,
aware
oh.
when people say world tour, they just mean a few dates
Yeah.
in North America and Europe, and that's it.
yeah. So
So it's not really a world tour.
but
but we were traveling a lot.
we were traveling a lot, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to do any other work at this point, like unless it's really special. And then this character comes along, and I didn't know what the game was at all. I just read the description, and it was that she was this kind of aristocratic, kind of leader of this very powerful family, read kind of mafia-esque, and her lines
Yeah.
included like that part of the description.
Maybe I should close them in another room. Okay, come to me. Yes, come to me.
Yeah.
For the audience, just so you know, Jenna's not been feeling well, which is why we pushed back the interview today. But we did promise our neighbours we would look after their dog, which is why
There is now a dog.
the price of community is inconvenience, and we have been inconvenienced by this dog.
Oh, he's lovely. He's lovely.
He's only
just
one.
gone very, very high. Yeah.
Proud of
So I read this description of this woman, and that she was this aristocratic, lonely leader of a family. She had all this responsibility, but also she's kind of badass. and, you know, happy to get her hands dirty. And, you know, she's methodical, she's to business. And I just thought, she sounds absolutely amazing. And spoilers for anyone who hasn't played this section of the game, but she also has this kind of shadow side to herself. That was part of the audition, and I just had so much fun with it and fell in love with this character. And I was like, I just have to play her. And she was, for me, she was inspired by our dear friend Patricia Somerset's performance as Princess Zelda.
I didn't know
that. With a little bit of, now hopefully this doesn't put anyone off, and also fuck J.K. Rowling, but a little bit of the teacher.
Oh,
Umbridge. Like there's a little bit of that sweetness. But like actually, the bite.
Yeah.
Obviously she's not like that at all. I just thought I can't not play this character, and had absolutely no time to do it. I was so jet lagged. It was like we would squeeze in. Usually you would never do more than 4 hours a day of recording on a video game because it's so exhausting. And I was doing
too much on your voice.
Yeah, it's too much on your voice and I was doing 8 hour days, like sandwiched them in completely jet lagged
in between flights.
And I ended up because I didn't want to do the commute or anything, like ended up paying for a hotel near the recording studios so I wouldn't disturb Aliona in the mornings. Like, but I am so glad I did it, and working with that team as well. There's a dev called Clair who worked on it and the director Danny. It was one of the loveliest atmospheres to work in, like so much fun and care went into it, and it was just a really joyous experience, wasn't it? I just went home with a smile on my face every single day, and the fans have been so respectful. Like we can almost spot a Wuthering Waves fan when we meet them at the conventions, because they look different. They look different to Baldur's Gate 3 fans. I can't describe it.
They're never dressed in like fancy clothing for one.
Yes.
Often they're younger.
Yeah.
They're quite cool in the way they're dressed at the time.
Yeah. Or
they'll be from different fandoms, like they'll be from Genshin Impact, and we're like, why is a Genshin Impact cosplayer in the cute Wuthering Waves? Right.
But they're always
there's some overlap.
They're always so respectful, usually quieter.
Very sweet.
Sweet is the word. And I'm just so glad I did that game.
You know, it's interesting because your Carlotta came at a time when there was a lot of pressure, I think, on the game itself to whether or not it would continue to be successful, because it had a pretty rocky start, and there were some questions about directorial choices. A lot of people this, that, and the other about acting, and the music was, you know, so when 2.0 released, I think a lot of people, because at that point you'd already had an established pedigree too. So when people found out that it was you who was voicing her, and I remember even myself, I was like, oh shit, they got Jennifer. Like it was like the legitimacy of the project through that Renacida sort of arc really. You really ushered in, not you the actor, but also like the character, ushered in a new sort of life. It breathed. And it's interesting because people like to say that Renacida, if you say it in Italian, rinasce, that means rebirth. So in a lot of ways, for those of us that are fans of this game, you know, gacha or otherwise, I mean, people have their opinions on gacha, but you know, you really sort of ushered in something new. So it's amazing.
Really lovely to hear. As I say, I didn't know what the project was, I think, until after I started recording. So, you know, I didn't know anything about that and what had happened. But it was also really wonderful to play a different genre as well, and to really appreciate that genre, because obviously I'd heard about Genshin and the kind of more anime style, and but just hadn't really had any exposure to it. And, you know, like I said earlier about like exposing ourselves to different art, I think it's really important as artists that we don't just do one type of thing. And obviously I'm more than happy to be the fantasy RPG girly, but it was really lovely to try a different style and do that. And as I say, I enjoyed it so much, and I'm really glad I'm just absolutely thrilled at the audience reaction to Rinascita, and that they have really, like, the audience has really enjoyed it, and that's so gratifying to hear. I would do more Carlotta in a heartbeat. I think she's such a brilliantly written character.
I don't know Wuwa very well. Is there music in Wuwa?
We're going to listen to one really quick, not the whole thing. But actually, this comes from Narushu, they have a YouTube channel, and they post a lot of content about Wuthering Waves. But so there's some video footage that you can watch, but it's actually playing as Carlotta. In this particular sequence, I just want to play about 1:15 of it, because there's actually, do you guys know the Queen of the Night?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, they actually reference that in this clip.
That.
And I just about like fell out of my seat, because, well, I'll go into why in a second.
It really does reference it. Wow.
And isn't it amazing? Because here's the thing, right? To me, like, so the reason why I continue to cover gacha games, and there, like there is a lot of opinions on it, and I think it's kind of lame that that's a system that exists, but it is what it is, where, you know, if you want a character, you have to essentially gamble or spend a lot of time playing it. However, they're free. And so what ends up happening is, if someone plays through this experience, fights Lorelei, the Queen of the Night, here they have a tangible experience where they're listening to a pure piece of classical music, or references to classical works of art. And so the question becomes, like, yes, we consume it and we experience it and we play it, but also imagine we come away with, all of a sudden, it may interest someone. You know how many people I've gotten to go see an opera because I've talked about their favorite video games?
Love
so
that.
To me, I was like, what? You know what I mean? That. So I felt like it was important to at least talk about Wuthering Waves, because I feel like there's a lot of biases against talking about it in mainstream gaming, especially after, like, major, you know, Cyberpunk, Lies of P, you know, Baldur's Gate 3 and Clair Obscur, obviously. But there's a subset of people that consume this voraciously. Well, what do you guys think of that? I mean, like, what comes to your mind when you hear the fact that they're referencing an opera?
I just want to. I just really want to thank you for bringing that perspective, actually, because it's not something I'd ever thought of, and I think that's wonderful. What I keep saying, gift, and I don't want to sound pretentious, but what a gift that it's exposing, and as we said at conventions, the Wuwa audience that we meet skew younger. It's exposing the gamers to classical music and to classical art and opera. I think that's wonderful. Absolutely. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think it doesn't surprise me, because having spoken to the developers myself, they're so vastly intelligent. and I just feel like, yeah, of course, like you meet the people behind your favorite pieces of art, and you go, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
That checks out.
A lot of it is like very thought through, and like it's certainly the section that I've worked on. I think I don't know, like. I don't know how self-contained that is or whatever, but I felt like I was in the presence of people who were more intelligent than I am, and I always love that. Like I want that. I want to be working with people that challenge me, that know more than me, and which is most people, to be honest. But
No.
but you know what I mean. Like I want to be.
Yeah,
I want to.
understand. You don't have to
No,
sell yourself short.
I want to be in a creative place with people who are well read, who listen to brilliant music, who nourish themselves, kind of going back to that, looping back to that. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. And like I know it's so action focused, but like Carlotta had some of the wordiest, like more complex linguistically lines that I've ever had to record. So again, like that makes sense to me. Like it's quite like some of her lines are very formal and almost like not quite archaic, but like Shakespearean, exactly Shakespearean.
Yeah, a degree of it.
Yeah. So it kind of fits in that kind of classical style of the character really fits into that music and to some of the costumes and the sets as well. Like if you look at those, like they're very like classically based. I don't know.
There's a real depth to it.
Yeah,
They are.
yeah.
There is, despite what would appear to be shallow on the surface,
Not
but I
at
mean,
all.
it really is. It really is deep, and they've pivoted away, thankfully, from having British people do American accents, which some do still, but like the authenticity of using the proper accents, whether it's Irish, Scottish, British, English, whatever. Like, it just lends itself super well, and it elevates. I mean, I know that not all British people are posh, but there's certainly are RP, but there is certainly it feels very classy when in its presentation, which is obviously like not all British people are classy, but there's there's a certain elevation there.
I mean, literally, Wuthering Waves. I was not familiar with your game. That game is like, we watched that and I was like, Jen, why are we not playing?
I'd love to play it. I think I was told that it's too hard for me.
Well, listen, you two. I mean, I know that we could talk
Hours
for
more.
several
really
more
would.
hours. I feel like I understand you both, and I feel like you understand me as well. So I appreciate this conversation
We've
so
loved
very
it.
much. But thank you both so much for wanting to come and chat, and everybody. I hope you enjoyed some music, but mostly just a really heartfelt discussion on, well, I guess art.
Yeah.
I hope we weren't too challenging for you, because interviewing two people at the same time and our ADHD being bing,
Oh, no.
bing, bing,
Yeah, with a dog
Oh, no, it was fine.
interrupting as well.
And the dog. No, it's cool. Now I have to go get diagnosed.
No,
I'll write
we've
you in a year.
absolutely loved it.
By the way,
No, your insight is
but thank you
your
both so
insight is
much.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
really grateful.
We've loved
I
it.
appreciate that. Of course. And thank you everybody
Thank
for
you.
watching. And we'll talk to all of you
Thank
later.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.